Am I the a-hole for not letting my brother blame me for no longer having romantic feelings for our childhood friend who's now his ex? I know the title's confusing, but this is what our fight is about. Me, 26 male, and my brother, 25 male, were friends with Nova, 24 female, growing up. I ended up having a crush on Nova for a while, and that developed into something deeper without anything ever happening. She and I were best friends and very close, but with her being younger, I always felt weird about it and didn't act when we were very young. Then she started dating, and I never wanted to be that person who tells someone they have feelings when they're already in a relationship. Nova went from relationship to relationship, so I never told her how I felt. My mom knew and my dad suspected, but I confided only in my mom a few times. She was the only person I told because I didn't want to start gossip or rumors. I never told my brother about my crush because he was always the kind of person who would tease, and I was terrified he would try to tell her for me while she was with someone. She was never really single long enough for me to say anything. She was never single for more than a few weeks, and she never really gave me the vibe that she liked me as more than a friend, so I kept quiet. 3 years ago, Nova and my brother started dating, and at that point, I told myself it had to end. I worked on letting go of any feelings I had. It wasn't easy, but I did. For me, there was just a line. Dating anyone my brother dated, even if I liked her before, was a no. That's a line you don't cross. I was happy and supportive of their relationship. He was over the moon, and I realized he clearly had feelings for her for a while too. He admitted he started liking her a couple of years before they began dating. Their relationship started to get more serious before they broke up. After the breakup, my brother told me he knew I was in love with her and said she admitted she was in love with me, but settled for him. He told me he wanted me to know I had his blessing. I asked him where he heard that, and he said our parents had talked to him after Nova had talked to them. He said there was no point in lying. I told him I wouldn't lie, that I used to feel that way, but I had let go of those feelings and moved on. He didn't believe me. Then Nova told me she was in love with me and wanted us to be together. I told her I didn't feel that way anymore. She was upset and asked if we could try, but I said no. She accepted that, and we're still friendly, but not close like before. My brother can't accept it, and ever since I said no to Nova, he's been picking fights with me and accusing me of being a prick. He told me he gave her up for me, that he gave us an opening to be together, and I threw it away. He said it was such BS that I let go of all that love I had for her. I told him I had let go, and I wouldn't apologize for doing it. I said it was far better than wishing she was with me while she was with him. I told him he can be heartbroken and upset that things with Nova didn't work out, but he doesn't get to blame me for my feelings. He said those feelings made me selfish, and that I'm an a-hole for telling him how to feel. I can see he's hurting and I feel awful, but I don't think it's fair that I'm being blamed by him. But maybe he's right and I'm the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Why are your parents meddling though? They were the ones who started this mess. Because Nova went to them and confessed she was in love with me and not my brother, and asked them to talk to him. Honestly, Nova sounds like a piece of work for doing that. It was not her place to embroil the whole family in drama. Like, who in their right mind would choose to involve your parents in this mess? I mean, she's already pretty awful for dating your brother knowing the way she felt about you. It's just so selfish to date someone when you're in love with their immediate family. Give your brother some time to get over his heartbreak. Hopefully, he'll see things rationally eventually, and maybe you can all move on. In general, I feel like you'll all be better off without her. I hope she doesn't end up ruining your relationship with your brother. I don't want this to ruin our relationship either, and I'm hoping it won't long term. Right now, we might just need space, but he's hurting bad. Maybe once things have cooled down, talk to your brother about how messed up the way Nova handled this is. She was not being kind or considerate at all. That is not the type of woman you want to date. Perhaps it'll be easier for him to see your point of view when it's obvious that there was never going to be a fantasy true love situation here. Nova is a deeply flawed person, and even if you two had dated, there's a high probability that it would have ended just as badly. That's what I realized after finding out about her settling. It's just so crappy and doesn't promise much maturity in a relationship we could have had. Even the way she ended things with my brother shows so much immaturity. Not the a-hole. I wouldn't want to date someone that dated and probably slept with my sibling either. That's a hard gross. Sometimes this is how it goes. If she really liked you, she never should have settled for your brother to begin with. She should have confessed or at least talked to you about it. Her behavior put you three in a horrible situation. Your parents shouldn't have shared your feelings with anyone. I do feel bad for your brother, but he needs to understand you can't force things. That was a line for me too. Before I knew about the settling thing, I could just never date my brother's ex, even if I loved her once. Next story. My mom and my sister expect me to be free childcare and put my life aside for her kids. I'm sorry this is going to be long. My 23 female mom has always put my sister, 25 female, as the highest priority. For some background, my sister was always the academically smart one, while I was terrible in school, except for some weird history and mechanics classes. She got top scores and graduated top of her class, with offers from several good universities. I graduated with barely passing grades and only had a couple of options for university. My mom made sure I knew it, and at one point said she likes my sister better because she can actually learn and make good grades. She said it in a fit of anger, but I still knew it was true. Fast forward, and I went to university studying history. I graduated last year and accepted an internship which has led to a job offer. However, after my sister graduated, she threw university away for a boy. She hops from job to job. She is moving back closer to me and my mom because she cheated on her husband and he kicked her out. The man she cheated with didn't know she would come with 3 kids and dumped her. She can't afford childcare and an apartment. My mom is cutting back on her hours to watch them while my sister works. The problem is, my mom still has to make money too, so there's a 1-day gap where they need someone to watch them. Because there are 3 of them, ages 5, 3, and 1, I offered to help my mom on my weekends off. I get 2 random weekends off a month because she has a physically demanding job and the kids are young. At some point, they decided that me saying that meant I would watch them my 1 real off day a week. I mentioned moving into a permanent position at my internship, which would give me more stable hours and more free time. But on the weekends when my sister is off, leaving that 1 weekday is still an issue. My mom is urging me not to take it, because although I would still get 1 weekday off, she thinks I can't guarantee it'll be the day they need. In my whole family, it's heavily expected to help family in every way possible, and I feel like everyone else has, and now it's my turn. But I don't understand why my mom is asking me to put my life on hold for my sister who cheated and caused her own problems. Am I the a-hole if I say no and refuse to help them? My boyfriend offered to let me move in with him farther away so they can't ask. However, we've only been together about a year, and I don't feel completely comfortable with that. Not the a-hole. Can you move in with a friend? And you weren't terrible at school. You graduated and got a job and internship. Terrible at school is something outright false and mean that your mom and sister convinced you into believing. People terrible at school don't graduate, get internships, and then get offered a job. Don't sacrifice your future for other people, especially not ones that have been so judgmental of you. Learn to say no. And also learn to stop offering your time. Your sister can rely on the children's paternal side of the family, apply for a discount on childcare, ask for a child support, etc. Don't spend your valuable time looking after kids whose parents should be able to manage childcare. I'm kind of a homebody and don't get out much. I'm also kind of awkward and have trouble finding people who enjoy the things I do. I've never been good at making friends, so I don't have anyone to move in with. Also, the only person the dad still talks to is his mom, and she's kinda crazy and can't be trusted alone with the kids. She's constantly on and off her meds, so she's very unpredictable and would 100% run off and leave the kids for days. I know it was stupid to offer my time, but I stupidly thought it would give me fun little time to get to know my niece and nephews better. In hindsight, that was a very stupid thing to do, and I don't know why I didn't see how they would turn it around in the future. This job will be good for you, as it will have you around more people. Co-workers will increase your social circle. even if you all go your own way at night. OP, as someone who also has a history degree, finding a job you like in your field of study is a unicorn. I sat at dinner with a table full of Ivy League history majors, and I was the only one using my degree for my job. Do not give up on your new position. Your sister, mother, or some other person or group can supply childcare outside of what you and your mother have offered. 3 children 5 and under is a crazy ask. Practice saying no in the mirror if you need to. It's honestly one of those situations, not your circus and not your monkeys. Your sister made a long line of questionable decisions, and life gets smaller and smaller in options as a result of those decisions. Don't let her decisions impact your life and career. Perhaps once you start your new position, you can start looking for a new place, maybe a roommate situation, as being under a separate roof can help reinforce what you agree to. It's not a super high position or a super high pay, but I was honestly so surprised when he asked me if I'd be interested. There's a ton I don't know about, and I tend to ask an annoying amount of questions about stuff. It's not a huge museum either, more of a small local one, and I still have to interview with higher management, but it's not an offer I'm gonna pass up. Even if it is just sorting papers and organizing stuff, it's a good start. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I don't want to move back in after her husband kicked me out for how I feel about him and my half-sister? My 17 female was kicked out of my mom and her husband's house 8 months ago when I was still 16. Honestly, I went more willingly than my mom liked, but I didn't want to stay after everything went down like it did. My mom was upset, and she insisted on us doing therapy ever since, and now she wants me back. I don't want to go back. Okay, so things went down like they did because my mom read my journal. She told me she was concerned about certain behaviors or lack of behaviors and wanted to see what my feelings actually were because she didn't think I'd be honest with her if she asked. She told me her biggest worry was how distant I was with my half-sister, who was 3 at the time but turned 4 since I moved out. She said I typically adore kids, and she thought I would be an adoring big sister to her. But she felt like I only showed her basic kindness as a kid and not actual family kindness and closeness. She used me and my brother, 20 male, and our relationship as an example. She told me it hurt to see me write that I didn't love my half-sister and that I treated her kindly not because I cared, but because I was just trying not to be a jerk. She said she didn't understand that and didn't like me feeling that way. Mom was almost begging me to tell her I didn't feel that way. She kept asking me to explain my feelings and trying to find anything in what I said that would prove I love and truly care about my half-sister as family. Then she brought up the stuff I wrote about her husband, how he wasn't my dad, how I didn't really like him, and how I didn't consider him my family and only tolerated him for my mom because she loved him. She also brought up a part where I wrote that I thought he was an a-hole for insisting I miss a paternal family member's wedding because it was his only day off and he wanted a family day. Mom asked me if it was really such a big deal to me, and I said it was, because he interrupted time with my family. She was like, "But we're a family." And I said she's my family, and technically my half-sister is, but he's just the guy she's married to. Her husband walked in at that point, and he went nuts. He said he had listened to us the whole time, and he wanted me out of his house. That if he wasn't my father figure and was just some guy, and his daughter wasn't good enough for me, then I could leave. My mom told him to stop and said I wasn't leaving, but he said I was. That I could go be with a family I actually wanted, since I didn't even want to spend one day with him over them. My mom started fighting with him while I texted my grandpa to pick me up, and I packed up my stuff. I left anything my mom and or her husband bought for me, so he couldn't say I would take his money, but not give him the title of family. My mom always said she wanted me back and tried to get me back, but now she's like, we've been in therapy for a while. She can find a way to help us all bond, and we should all be a family under one roof again. The therapist asked her if she was making me come back, and she said she wanted me to come back willingly, and that's when I told her I don't want to move back in with them. I said I'm happier staying with my grandparents and seeing her when we can. She told me that's not how we become a family though, and she cried. She said she really thought I would become more open to trying because I'd missed them so much. Am I the a-hole? Oh, come on. Your mother knew all of that already. That's why she read your diary. Her husband has zero authority over you, so it was her that denied you the chance to go to the family wedding you wanted to go to because he didn't want you to go. He is trying to replace your father, and you aren't allowing him the chance. Has your father passed on? Stay with your grandparents, and you should prepare for a future where her husband says she's not allowed to see or speak to you anymore and she chooses him. Yes, my dad died when I was younger. There are certain types of people that view other people as property. It's an ego thing. He probably saw your mother with a minor daughter without a father and considered you both a package deal. As a result, he 100% expected you to place him at the top of your power ladder. Enabling that kind of BS is lunacy anyway, but he really can't do anything that your mother doesn't allow. As much of an a-hole as he is, it was your mother that has made her choices, and she chose him when she married him. Moved in with him and all that. She knew what he was and what that would have meant for you. Not the a-hole. Your mom has utterly failed as a parent by putting this man and your half-sister before you. Your mom needs to see how allowing you to be kicked out by him was an incredible betrayal. She also royally messed up by reading your private journal and demanding you discuss it. Your private thoughts sound reasonable, and it sounds like you were causing no issues there. You are entitled to your privacy. Protect your peace and stay in an environment that is healthy for you. It is sad, but I think you are making the best decision for yourself. I'm sorry you are going through this so young. Wishing you the best. My mom wanted, and still wants everyone to love everyone and be one happy family. She's pushed my brother in a similar way because he keeps in touch with her, but hasn't seen her husband or our half-sister in over 2 years. To her, it's tragic that I don't love my half-sister and don't want to be the best big sister ever to her. I think even me saying half-sister bothers her.